Hey everyone, it's Jim T. Graham and Jason Cole, and we're live on the RCGroups podcast. Holy smokes, I'm 3 minutes early. What's going on? Jason's putting things together for everyone as they log on live on the RCGroups broadcast. Let me tell you what, everyone out there in the YouTube world, it has been beautiful in Nashville. It's window down weather. The one thing, Jason, I thought this was kind of funny. Everyone at the field the other day, it seemed to have a wind issue. I guess the wind would go one direction, then they start to take off, and then it'd switch up on them.
Yeah, well, so yesterday the forecast was light and variable. So the winds were light. There was no discernible direction, so they just call it light and variable. The thing is we would have a lot of gusts, and that was due to the thermal activity. So as the thermals would build, they would pull hot air into it, and all the cold air around the thermal gets sucked into it and pulled towards the thermal. So yeah, it was constantly changing directions, which was pretty cool because it, as a thermal guy, that tells me where the thermals are pretty easily. So I could stand in the field and feel the wind shift and change. I'm like, all right, there's a thermal right there, boom, and go right to it. So it's pretty fun when that happens. I guess not if you're trying to fly a pattern with other airplanes in the air.
Now I've heard, I've been at the field and had people complain about wind before, but I've never heard so many people say it changed again. They were really getting frustrated.
Yeah.
But with that said, and we're going to talk about the Neutrino Sailplane. What does that mean, neutrino? I've asked this before.
Isn't it I should look it up. It's like a element, right? Like an atom.
I will Google that.
I wonder.
I believe that's the fatty acid that women hate. A neutrino
a subatomic particle
with a mass close to zero and half integral spin, just like when you throw DLG, rarely reacting with normal matter, like me. 3 kinds of neutrinos are known, associated with the electron, muon, and tau particle, of course. How did we not know that?
Well, now we do. Well, so with a mass close to zero, I guess that's the pun of the airplane, is because it's supposed to be super light and ultra competitive, and
gotcha.
That's awesome. I like it.
I'm upset that I can no longer see how many live people are on anymore, and now I'm going through my settings, checking it out, which is probably the very best thing.
I'm going to send you to a page right now, and you're going to click on it, and that's going to be the page you need to be at that shows you how many people are watching.
Okay, awesome.
What is on your hat?
Oh, I was going to talk about this. Okay, so as everyone may or may not know, every evening I go out and do something to the truck, although I'm pretty close to being done. But I have learned, and this is related not just to vehicles, but to anything that you're working on, I learned a few things that I should have bought first as opposed to almost very last. And this is one of them. So first I had a magnetic flashlight, which was awesome. But I think that I magnetically stuck it maybe somewhere in the motor and then left. All I can figure, it's gone.
It's like gone.
It's that $50 thing that I showed on the podcast that I was in love with.
Oh, no.
It's gone, man.
What?
It's been a month now. I'm pretty sure it's not coming back. Or unless I have found tools lodged in things before, like tiny screwdrivers inside of airplanes. And so this thing could be magnetically somewhere on my truck. I don't know.
There's a lot of metal in that thing.
Yeah. Well, so then you're right. So then I started using this other flashlight that I got that was sort of like, but it was terrible. The magnet didn't work. I cussed at it the whole time. It was always like I'd put it in and I'd get ready to do something and it would slide sideways. So I lived with that thing. And then, like I say, when I'm very close to the end, I got on the internet and I thought, there's got to be something better. So the next thing that I've been using is a headlamp that you put the strap on your head and it's got the big thing on it. And what it would do if I was under the truck or moving around, it would slowly grip on my head and go whoosh, boom, pop off my head. And then more cussing then. So then I got on the Amazon, which has everything. I won't shine this at the thing, but this has multiple lights and that's got side lights and the whole deal. So this will be the hat. Well, not that hat. Where's my hat?
That could also come in handy at Joe Nall if the lights go out on the golf cart.
Well, the reason I thought of this is there is a pro bro. Lance is a pro bro, and he's got one of these hats, and he wore it. And I was like, man, you got to have that because if you were working on something, it's just already there. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to touch it. So this light is going to go. I wore it for the podcast. This light's going on this hat. This hat's going in the bed of the 64.
So whenever you work on it.
Let's say I break down on the road or something in the middle of the night or whatever, I'll always have a light. And this is good and bad. It's USB chargeable. I think it was $12. USB is great because you can just plug it in, but it's bad because if it runs out of juice, then you got to wait for it to charge. So that's kind of $12. Jason, looks like you've got something going on over there. Are you?
I'm just typing in the chat. So we got people. They're like calling in from all over. We got Nashville, Tennessee. We got Nashville, Michigan. And we got Panama City Beach. And I was like, I used to fly my powered paragliders off the beach there in Panama City. Beach blast.
I was at the Panama Beach during spring break, and we were cruising the row in this huge 77 Suburban. And I yelled to everyone in the truck, which had to be like 8 people, I'm going to flip this cop off. And I did.
What?
And then they said, great job, Jim. You know that the traffic's not moving. So I just had to live with my actions. The cop didn't care. But
my goodness.
Yes.
That's funny. Brazil. We have a Brazilian. That's awesome.
I'm going to go to my channel. Did you, everyone, I got to talk about this because I think it's funny. We did that interview with Shelby Vall, and it was great because I hope I got this across to Shelby. He's got great energy and excitement. That's really all it takes to help the hobby and your whole damn life, to be honest. But I was like, I got to get a better picture than like me or Jason, which is what YouTube always seems to defer to. So I found this picture of Shelby Vall giving the rock and roll sign, get his tongue out. And then I put RCGroups over the top, looking like he was pointing at it. And I thought possibly the best image I've ever done for the Hangout, right? And how many people complained to you, Jason, about that?
We had a bunch of posts because it kind of resized it, made it smaller for the sidebar on the forum index page. And then so it kind of blurred his fingers a little bit. And it looked like he was giving RCGroups the finger.
It did look a little bit like that, but I thought maybe that's sort of a stimuli. And it did. It stimulated many people to write Jason to say, why is this on our site? So,
yeah, so I had to go post the full-size image. Like, hey, look, it's not the middle finger. But yeah, that was funny.
I went and changed it. So
yes, you did.
Well, the good news is, everyone, we were able, Jason said, hey, let's go to the field on Wednesday. And with winter being, I think it lasted 2 years this year. I was like, yeah, right. We'll just go to the field on Wednesday. And I looked and it was nothing but sunny. And it said, well, it was 60 degrees forecasted. Today is 66 degrees.
Yeah.
Forecasted. But
it was 66. It got up in the 70s yesterday, actually. Yeah.
It was perfect. Other than that crazy wind, which, Jason, I was surprised. And hopefully we have some photos, and we have bad news too. But I was surprised that with not one cloud in the sky, you're actually getting lift off that thing.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just thermals don't work just when there's clouds out.
I thought the clouds were indicators of thermals like booming up from the ground and creating.
Well, so when you see cumulus clouds, those are definitely being created by hot air rising. And so it's good indications of where lift are. Typically, they're way, way, way high. And, you know, it's not really going to help you. But, yeah, underneath the clouds, there's warm air rising and building and building. And if it gets too much, it'll turn into a cumulonimbus cloud and thunderstorms and all that rain and all that mess. But, yeah, but it doesn't have to be. The thermals are created by heat differentials on the surface of the earth. So as the sun comes up, yeah, and heats things, it'll heat fields faster, quicker than it'll heat a tree, a tree forest next to it. So that field will be a thermal generator. So it's going to be heating up that field, and the warm air is going to rise off of it and lift off and then drift with the wind, but rise. Cold air is going to come down next to it to fill in underneath.
Sorry.
What's Santa Claus doing in the chat?
Enrique, I did not flip off a cop in Panama, so I must have got that wrong. I'm pretty certain that if I did, they wouldn't just let that go.
Well, so that was my fault. I saw Panama and I kind of stopped reading, and I'm like, yeah, Panama City Beach, but he's talking about Panama, Central America. And I'm like, okay, yeah.
Let me ask you this, Jason. When I was trying to learn to be a DLG pilot, it was like 104 degrees. You know how it gets in the summer around here.
Yeah.
And I was just assuming, I thought, okay, it's too hot for thermals. Can it be too hot for thermals?
I mean, there could be a point to where, yeah, I mean, the heat can be an issue, but not, they're still going to generate thermals. There's still going to be heat differentials at whatever temperature. Like it just because something's 100 degrees and something's 110, it's still going to create heating differentials and cause thermals. So, I mean, you can have it in the middle of winter. It can be negative 12 degrees outside, and you're still going to have heating differentials and still have thermal activity. So I've had great thermals in winter. So it's really anytime the sun's out and creating, any kind of heat generation on the earth, it's going to happen.
Now, this story I have is too good not to tell. Have you heard my hawk story when I was learning DLG and I saw the hawks?
Well, I may not have ever heard this story.
So I walk out. I walk out back. I don't know why, but I hear these hawks, and I'm like, "Where are they?" And I kept hearing them, and then I realized that I watched them. I thought these can't be hawks at first, but they were, and they were riding thermals and specking out, and it was two hawks, and then they were plummeting to the earth, which I couldn't wrap my head around. And so I was at a show and Pete Goldsmith, and I told Pete Goldsmith about this. They did it multiple times, and I was like, what am I looking at? So Pete told me that the hawks would thermal up as high as they could go, and then they would mate. They would plummet to the earth and mate on their way down. And before they were to die, they would separate. Wow. And then they would ride the thermals back up, and that is how hawks mate. So
you got to get in and out quick, huh?
I'm going to Google that. It takes a while to plummet from thousands of feet in the air.
Guess, yeah.
Well, how exciting would that be? I think this is something everyone should try.
Something to aspire to, huh?
I'm going to Google hawk mating, and we'll come back later in the show to verify at that time. Maybe he was just telling me.
Oh, my goodness. But, yes, yesterday was a fantastic, epic, just one of those perfect days at the field. Beautiful weather. Just could not ask for more.
And everyone was out, and it was nice just to sit on the picnic table.
Yeah, just beautiful. And then like next week it'll be 100 degrees and just be sweating your stuff off.
Oh, we're gonna have some nice weather for a while. Sometimes spring.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope it lasts.
Okay, so we should have some photos now. The bad news that I was going to bring up is that we took video and photos yesterday, and Jason put the video setting on something not right. So the videos are bad, but I was hoping that you might have photos on your SD card that we
I do have some photos. They're untouched, and then random. There could be some blurries in here, but let me see if I can pull that up for you. Boom, boom, boom. Does that work?
Yes.
Does that show it when I click it like that? Do you see the full size?
No.
You do not. Okay, let me see if I can share that part of it.
Yeah.
Come back here, screen share. Application. No, I cannot. Well, let me open them up in a viewer then. I'm surely I can show that. And will it switch if I do that?
My son would say right now, technology.
Technology. Okay, that should work. Let me try that. There you go.
Yeah. That airplane's huge.
All right. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay, it's showing in the live feed there. Look how big that is. I'm like 6'5" too. That tells you how big that airplane is.
Everyone at the field was highly impressed.
Yeah. So I'm 5'9", 5'10". That's 4 meters. 13 something feet. That's pretty big boy. Fully built, ready to go. Let me see if I can. I have to click here. Okay. No, come back. There we go. Is it changing? Yes. There's me with my tongue out.
No.
You're not seeing a change?
Mm-mm.
Oh, how am I going to do this, Jim? I'd have to share each individual picture.
It should let you go click, click, click. You double click on it, but you're on a Mac, so it might be a little different.
Yeah. I'll go back to this one. Maybe I can do it. Get rid of this. Maybe I can blow this up, make it big. Maybe. Does that look any better?
Sure.
Have you seen it change?
Yeah. Can you make your image bigger?
Maybe. If I click on it to open it up, it doesn't work. That's what we've been doing. But
gotcha.
Maybe I can try it this way.
Well, let's do it this way. I'm gonna go to chat because I'm sure everyone's losing their mind. They're saying, "Oh my God, you guys, it's 2019. Don't you work the internet now?" No one's saying that.
All right, that looks better. That looks better.
Bingo.
Now I just have to be able to switch it, which I can't.
Yeah, just click on it on the bottom.
I want to tap. Okay, now I guess. So there you go. So you can see the checkerboard here. This is a carbon fiber. There's different types of carbon fiber. This is this checkerboard weave style, which is pretty cool looking. It is a solid foam core wing, and it weighs 50. What did my final weight end up getting to be? 52.7 ounces all up. And this is actually a heavier build because this is one of the first production models, not production, but first models out of the molds. And it's built with heavier solid core material. And so they're going to be able to get this actually sub 50 ounces, somewhere in the 45, 48 ounce range for the full production units, which is amazing. I don't mind a few extra ounces. It's not going to hurt me one bit. This thing is awesome. Let's see. So you can see how big the prop is. I don't know what size it is, but it's pretty stinking awesome. And one of the cool things, I can't really get it out to show you, but I always hated, I talked about this at the field yesterday, I always hated folding propellers. And it was because, for transport and storage, I'd have to like try to get a rubber band or something to try to fold the blades up and keep them against the fuselage. Or they just fall out or, unfold because they're loose and just get in the way and be a problem. And then if you had it stop vertically in the air, the bottom propeller would, hang down a little bit and create more drag than is necessary. But one of the things I learned while building this is people start using O-rings or hair scrunchies or, rubber bands or whatever. You could actually wrap them around the prop, inside of the hub, and then around the other blade. And if you get the tension right, I happen to have the exact right size O-ring. So I used a black O-ring. It's about the same diameter, like 32 millimeter as the spinner, and wrapped it around the blades. And it's, loose enough that when you give it power, the motor's strong enough, it actually, puts tension on that O-ring, but folds the blades out perfectly flat like this and flies normally. But then when you cut the power and the brake is applied from the speed controller, they just snap back, tucked nice and tight to the fuselage. And it's so simple and easy, and you don't have to do anything, and it always is that way. So I'm like, that's incredible. I love it. Super easy to launch. You don't really even have to throw it. You can kind of just move it forward, and it's just got so much power. And I don't even launch it at full throttle. I'm launching it like half throttle. It just goes, and so much wing for lift. It's beautiful in the air. I was really happy with how well that pink showed up. Let's see if we have a shot of the bottom, because it's got good stripes. It's a decent one. Let's see if we get another one here. So it's got really good pink stripes, and then that white. So there's a lot of contrast, which makes it really easy to see and orient yourself to the airplane. And it's big, and you're going to fly it, far away. So I got to 1,000 feet yesterday.
Oh, I can't believe you said it. I wasn't going to say it.
Oh, away from me.
All right.
1,000 feet away from me. I don't know how high I was, but yeah, so it was easy to see, and I could still, I felt fully comfortable, had really strong signal. I've got all my antennas running outside, as you probably saw.
That's when it was there that far away. The first thing I thought was, I can't believe how big it looks.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a big airplane, so it's great for that. But here's the best part. This thing is a just beast when it comes to coring low-level thermals. And what I mean by coring is you kind of getting the best part of the thermal, the lift. And if you don't know, the lower a thermal is from the ground, they kind of picture them, it's really crude, but like a tornado. right? So they kind of can rotate a little bit and they're drifting with the wind, but think of it like a tornado where closer to the ground, they get really tight, really small diameter. So you really need to be able to turn very sharply to stay in the lift when you're down low. And that's really key with F5J is you're going to a lot of times be launching and cutting the motor off very low and trying to hook up in a thermal and then get it skied out. But so this thing turns on a dime. It basically I can get it on a tip and just wrap it around and then just core these thermals really well. I was impressed a lot by how well it did that. And then you just kind of work it. And then once you get up higher, the lift is spread out a lot farther, so you can flatten your turns out and not have to turn as sharply and fly smoother.
At one point when I was shooting the video, I just put it at a certain the airplane was so consistently going in a circle that I just locked the I didn't zoom or anything, and it would go from one side to the other to the other.
Nice. Yeah, so they're asking in the live chat about fitting in my car. Yeah, it actually is a 4-piece wing and a 2-piece fuselage, and then the vertical stab and the horizontal stab comes off. So it fits. You could fit it in a box like that goes up to just above your waist. Like you could fit it in a Miata. It's really small. It's really designed for transportation and travel in the contest and be able to stick it in a really compact, tight box to take on an airliner, which is amazing. I love that about that. So it looks cool. I'm super happy with it. I had a pretty far forward CG and still loved how it flew. So I have now moved it back. I've dropped 2 ounces of weight out of it and moved the CG back about 10 millimeters. And I'm going to go fly it again this evening after work and see how she does. And it's a little bit windier today. It's like 10 to 15. So I'm going to get some good, turbulent kind of weather and just see how it handles and penetrates and stuff. Just gathering data for my thoughts on the review, which will it'd probably take me a couple of weeks to get it all written up. There's a lot to process and work on and write. But anything else cool in here? I guess we could go to the next item.
Yeah, flaps. No, not next item.
Oh, the flaps, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do flaps. You can see the antennas there. So I have 2 antennas behind the wing pointing down and then 2 antennas in front of the wing kind of pointing up at a V on both sides. So basically, no matter what orientation or angle this thing's at, it's always got at least 1 antenna that's in direct line of sight. And I think I was at 100% signal on all 4 the entire flight for all the ones that I checked. So pretty awesome with that. Being an all-carbon fuselage.
Shout out to Balazar1. Welcome to the live chat.
Welcome.
Hey, before we go to anything new, and I took like 9,000 photos of this thing, it looks like, and it really does look good. But we still haven't seen the flaps. So this thing would slow down. You could like catch it in your teeth. It just crawled when the flaps were down.
Yeah, you can't even catch them. Did I miss it there? Let me see. Not yet. Okay. I'm going to scroll through quickly, see if we can find the flaps. So there's ways you can set this up, and this is all, there it is. So that all in the mechanical and electronic linkage setup, programming in your radio, and then the mechanical setup on the airplane on how to maximize. But you can basically get 90 degrees straight down barn door flaps on this. And then I also raise my ailerons up, and it's called crow. It's called a crow mix. But when you want to come in for landing, it just brings it to a crawl, just like a DLG. That's a good shot of it. You can kind of see them hanging down, and the ailerons are pointed up. And then I still have control, so the ailerons will still move for that, and rudder is really effective as well. So you still have full control over it, maybe a little bit less than you would when the everything's in the neutral position, but still perfectly acceptable. It's just awesome. I mean, this is, you're probably talking $2,500 to $3,000 worth of retail price gear to get that airplane and set up the way I have it. It's, it's expensive, but I guess everything's relative. And
I could buy a Crown Vic ex-police car for that amount of money, Jason.
Yeah. But man, it's worth it. It's worth every penny. And you just get what you pay for, especially in this kind of world and competitive land of sailplanes. It's just quality of materials, the construction, the way it's built, the way it's designed. Man, I like that shot with the little flare on the wing.
We have no idea what's in these boxes in the field, by the way. Jason, do you have any idea what's in there?
I don't know what's in those boxes.
I'm
scared to go look
when they installed it, but I don't know that anyone knows. So are you going to start competing with this? And if so, when?
Yeah, so there's actually
what?
What
the
heck is that?
Yeah, bingo.
There's actually a competition next weekend in North Carolina that I would love to go to. But guess what, Jim?
What?
We're going to Toledo.
Well, you know you love Toledo.
You can handle Toledo by yourself, right? I'll just go to this contest.
I'm sure that all the work we did to get to Toledo, we could just scrub it.
Yeah. So the first contest I'll be at is at the end of next month. It'll be it's not a F5J, it's an AILS, altitude limited electric soaring, I think is what it's called. But that'll be in Tullahoma, and then there'll be some more. I'll be going to the Mid-South and the Nationals, and everyone I can get to.
Nope, don't go there yet.
Nope.
Before we jump to the next product.
Anything in the chat I should be aware of? I've been kind of 4-meter wingspan smooth. What size battery? So yeah, that's a funny thing. We can talk about that. It's not very. It's fast. You could dive it down and pull big loops and stuff, but it's not really designed to be fast. It's designed to be light and slow for thermaling well, but you can also speed it up to go find thermals when you need to. But battery size, I'm running a 3-cell 850 milliamp hour, and that is good for a whopping 1 minute of motor runtime. But typically in the competition for these, you have a 30-second motor runtime window, and that's all you need. So I could actually reduce the battery size if I wanted to, and if I can get 30 seconds out of a battery, that's all I need to get.
Steve, that's Steve Swartz says not much sailplane activity at Toledo, but that's not true, really, because Soaring USA is there. Who's the other
Kennedy
company?
Composites.
Kennedy Composites, yeah. And then also, dag nabbit, I'm spacing out. Skip
Stewart, yeah.
Skip Miller. Skip Miller.
Skip Miller Stewart
usually has
some air show pilot.
Really, yeah. Skip Miller usually has some stuff there.
Yeah.
And Soaring USA has been an advertiser of ours for years, and we are big fans.
Yeah, but typically, like what I was doing yesterday, I would do like a 10-second motor run, and then I'd fly for 10 minutes, and then come in and land, and then do a 10-second motor run, and then fly for 10 minutes. It's all about really trying to see how low you can turn the motor off and still climb up and fly for 10 minutes. That's really the heart of the competition. The higher you go, the more points are deducted off your score. So every meter up to 200 meters, that your launch altitude is started at is a 0.5 point deduction penalty, they call it. And then anything over 200 meters is a 3-point penalty per meter. So you really don't want to go over 200, but you want to, if you're going to beat the other guys, you need to launch as low as you can and fly for 10 minutes still. If you launch low and don't make your 10 minutes, then you did nothing. You wasted it.
I think whenever you talk, there should just be a picture of my truck there. I'm really enjoying that. Oh man, Soaring USA. Go check them out. That's where the airplane came from, right? You got this from Soaring
USA. Maybe none of those guys are going to be there this year. What? I know Toledo's changing and things are, fluid with Toledo. And basically trade shows in general, like across all industries, are a little bit different. People kind of want to have their own spotlight like Apple does with their own private events. But
I guess we'll find out, We'll go there and see how it feels and see how, it could be a thing we don't go to anymore after this.
Yeah. Let me show a picture of this. Daniel's asking about telemetry, and I think I just took a picture. Maybe it's not in this one. Okay, I don't have the picture. But yes, I have a thing called an Altus Nano in it, and it's got an LED display inside. It's really tiny. And it records your altitude, and it can limit the motor. So it goes in line between the speed controller and the receiver. And there's different ways you can set it up. You can program it at the field with a device or on your computer. And there's different competitions that you could use it in. But for F5J, it's going to be set to turn the motor off automatically after 30 seconds and it's going to be set to record the highest altitude that is achieved between the time the motor turns on and 10 seconds after it is turned off. So you could go up to 100 meters and then find the thermal real low and then dive back down and then try to get that thermal really low. But because you went up to that 100-meter height, that would be your starting altitude, and that would be what your points deduction is based on. So there's no point in going up and then coming back down. So just stay low. What a lot of guys will do is launch kind of straight out, hang around low, and cruise at idle speed while they're hunting for thermals. And if you find one, then you feel like it's good, you cut the motor and then hook up in it and go. But otherwise, you kind of wait it out, fly about 20 seconds. If you don't find anything, then you kind of blast up in the last 10 seconds and try to get, as much altitude as you feel like you need to make 10-minute flights. So you can have, I do have telemetry on it. So I can read it on my Jetty radio. It ties in and I can see the altitude. I can see my starting height altitude. I can get variometer data off of it. So I can turn on the thing and hear the tones. And, when you hit a thermal, it's do, 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 do. But however, you're not allowed to use that in competition. So that I would have to have those screens turned off. You can't look at your screen and be like, okay, I'm almost 200 meters. Now I'm going to shut off so I don't get a 3-point deduction once I go higher. So it's all about you judging your altitude based on visual cues from the airplane, not from the telemetry data. So the only thing you have in the F5J competitions for telemetry is nothing until you land, and then you have to physically look at the device or plug it in and get that starting altitude. So you're not allowed to have it on your screen. But when you're practicing, it's cool to have, and then it shows you your altitude in real time. So that's fun.
What do you think about FPV on sailplanes? I believe you and I talked about this, and it just didn't seem like it worked right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's cool. It works. It's really smooth and stable airplanes usually, and they fly a long time, so you get good run time. But I think for like trying to thermal in it would be really difficult. You can't really tell when you're climbing unless you have a variometer on it and can hear the tones and know that you're climbing, but you're not going to be able to visually tell. And flying a thermal, inside an FPV view is going to be near impossible.
Right.
Because sailplane pilots can do it because you're in it and you're sitting in it and you're feeling at it and you're looking the gauges and you can tell, but you can't feel what the airplane feels like in FPV. So it'd be really strange. But for flying around, sport flying, cruising, relaxed FPV, it'd be great for that.
Rough Hind said he has 63 Chevy Stepside 327, which is essentially the same size. I've got a 5.3 LS motor in mine and 323s, I think. Hey, I have a thing queued up here, and I'm going to go
stop my screen share.
Full scale it. I'm going to start present to everyone. You're presenting. And I'm going to screen share. I'm going to hit share. Yes. And how does it look, Jason? Do you see a bird?
I do see a bird.
Well, now you're going to see what I was saying that sounds crazy. So this guy is probably pretty high up.
Oh, I know. Oh, my goodness.
He's like, hey, good looking. Be back to pick you up later.
Rated PG-13.
He's literally going to pick up a hawk here. And I believe I'm at the point where.
Is this the bird bar?
The bird bar. Hold on. Let me.
Picking up chicks at the bird bar. Oh. Whoa.
Okay. So he's got that bird by the claw. Oh, I didn't get past this point. When I saw that, I was like, this is it. That's what I was watching. So let's see. He's got a chaser. This is like skydiving. And
not all passes work,
He's like, I got you. Hold on. Ha! Ha! Okay, here we go. She's like, I'm out of here. And he's like,
no, Jared.
Oh, no, she's rolling inverted. Oh, she really looks to be evading him. Let's move forward a little bit. Okay. And, well, heck. I don't believe. Anyway, you saw for a brief moment, except the thing I saw, it went all the way to that skyline.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Okay, now let's move on to our second thing that we flew, which was pretty damn cool. So Jason will tell you everything, but it's made for a beginner, and then Jason tweaked it for crazy flying too.
as one does. Uh-oh. Package delivery for Jim Graham.
It's probably my daughter.
All right. So I got this in the mail. It's a little box, right? It's called the RC Cloud 0.5. It's a new paraglider from Hacker USA, Hacker Motor USA. And when you open the box, this is essentially how it came, but I'm going to take this guy out first. So this was extra. This was something they sent too. This is Fuzz Aldrin, the Space Bear.
Now, if you say derogatory things to Fuzz Aldrin, will he try to hit you too?
I don't know. Is that something the real Buzz did?
Someone, I believe it was Buzz, they said that they didn't really go to the moon, and he wound up punching that guy in the mouth.
Well, how pissed would you be if you did something really cool like that? And then people are like, you didn't do that.
I 100% think an astronaut should hit anyone in the mouth that deserves it. I love it.
All right. So in there, you get this bag. This bag is not connected to anything when you first pull it out. It is now. But inside the box is a powered paraglider frame. It looks awesome. It's small. It's affordable. There's 4 connections for the wing. So the wing's in here. I'll pull that out in a second. You have the little servo arms. Ching, 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 ching. These pull the brakes. And then the main connections, contact point for your riser lines. And it's got a light bar on it, if you can see that. And it's got an on-off switch. It's super bright. It almost blinded me. So don't look directly at it if you get one, but you can turn it off for daylight operation.
This on your hat if you needed.
Totally could. But it'll be great at nighttime with those lights on. But it has the motor already installed, the speed controller already installed, the servos already in there ready to go. You just need to put in your own receiver and set it up. You can either get the Hacker VTEL or paramixer thing that they have that you can plug in, or I just do it on my own setup on my radio. But so here's the wing. You can, just transport it real easy. So I don't know if you can see it too well. But
and I'll tell you that all the pilots at the field stopped flying. They wanted to see what this thing did.
Yeah, you got to see this thing. It's awesome. So it's supposed to be like 0.5 meter wingspan or so. It's, comes up to my chest, I guess. But one thing I noticed was they didn't skimp out on materials, which is great because this wing is just the right material. It feels like great quality. It's not cheap plastic. It's that ripstop. Same material that we use in our full-scale paragliding wings. Nice lines, non-stretch kind of stuff, just perfect for what this is supposed to be. And this is really designed for beginners. I haven't seen the webpage yet. He's supposed to be putting that up soon. And this is kind of like a beginner, budget-friendly paraglider. So I think $200, $250, and just need a receiver and a little 3-cell battery, and you're good to go. But nice and easy to fly on the stock settings. And so he told me, he's like, it's going to be really beginner friendly. And I was like, oh, it was, because the first flight, I was like, I was slamming the sticks over, and it was, just nice, leisurely turns, took a while to do things. It's really safe for first-time people. But then he said, so just take a couple of wraps around the control arms with the brake lines, and then you'll spice it up a little bit. And I said, ooh, all right, let's do that.
Jason can tell you the exact amount of wraps.
Well, so somehow I confused with the word couple with the word few. And so I did 3 wraps, which is what I associate with few, but he didn't say few, he said couple. So when I did it with a few wraps around the lines and taped them in place, I took off and I could see the brake lines being pulled, on the wing. I was like, oh boy. So it kind of makes it a little bit hard to fly, but really twitchy and touchy and super sensitive. And so when
all that whole description reminds me of a cousin I used to have. Super touchy and sensitive.
Super touchy and sensitive.
Anyway, sorry.
So it was super aerobatic and crazy, but too much. So we landed, and then I took 1 wrap out of it and did it with 2 wraps, and then it was just about perfect. And aerobatic, it does loops. It's got enough power, it'll do loops. You can do crazy stuff. You can do helicopters with it. All the horsing around you want to do. So
let's see some pictures, Jason.
let's take some pictures. Well, let's do
E-Powered RC, thanks for listening to us while you drive home from the airfield.
There you go.
Look at that awesome truck, though. Wow, that thing must be fast.
So I was running a 3-cell 1500. If it's low winds, you can run smaller packs. And if it's heavier winds, you can run bigger batteries or add ballast. So, but the more wind there is, the more weight you need to counter it. Let's see. I haven't looked at these yet.
I took pictures of him setting it up.
Adjusting the wrap. And so there she is out at the field.
The great shot of the internals.
Fuzz getting ready for a flight. And
hey, everyone, that's Peter Collins, and he goes to our field. He just produced the 40th anniversary Stray Cats album, and the EPK is on YouTube. You can go check it out.
There you go. And so just like the other paragliders, you just kind of pull and run, move forward with it, and the wing pops up, and you just give it a little bit of throttle, and then off she goes. So you can kind of see that was a botched launch, and then there we go. Straight overhead and out. It's a good looking wing, man.
It's affordable, unlike most paragliders, and it looked super easy to fly, and it looked like fun, and it got everyone's attention.
I've had a lot of people ask about the one I have Woody on, my bigger one. I have 4 or 5 now. But my big ones, they're like, oh, how much is that? I'm like, you're probably going to have $450, $500 in it by the time you're done.
And they always
like, ouch.
Yeah, they can't do it.
So now this is, nearly just as cool. It's just not as big, but it's half the price.
I would say it's just as cool. And when you get in the big ones, you're really putting big packs on there. And this one, what kind of pack did this take? You said?
Well, 3-cell. You can run a 1,000 milliamp hour, 1,300, 1,500.
I would own this.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm excited. This one, it's even as small as it is, it fits back into that box.
Now, we do get a picture here of Jason modifying it for more robust flying, and we also hopefully get some photos of it being inverted and sideways and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I saw the pictures of it already being wrapped around the control arms. See if I did some loops in here. I'll have full video and all that stuff. I'll be doing a little article on this after I finish the Neutrino one. There we go.
Reshoot the video on this as well.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's like a whole day at the field.
Yeah, man. So I was doing like 90-degree, like banked, like just full power spins, like on the wingtip. And, I did a helicopter. We did some loops, did some little flippy thingies. I don't even know what the names are anymore. It's been so long. But it's one of those things where you can cruise with it. You can do aerobatics with it. And you can do night flying with this. So I think it's going to be a really good seller. It's a good price point. It's excellent quality gear that you get with it, and the wing is just immaculate for what it is. So I'm really happy how it turned out. Let's see what else we got here.
Lee, you owe me a phone call, man. Give me a call.
There's me coming in for a landing. I just catch them and then play with it. But you can land them on the ground. It's just, I like catching them. You probably want to catch yours.
That's the shot right there. That's the shot right there. That's your main photo, I think.
Boom. The RC Cloud. It's kind of a weird name. That's all the pictures we got, folks. Did we have any questions on that on the chat? I wasn't able to see.
Also, is that on their website yet? I know that it's imminent.
I think I haven't seen yet. He hasn't told me it's up, and I haven't looked. So, but he said,
well, he's threatening to run an ad on this, so you might be able to find it on the site via a random banner ad.
Yeah, Daniel. So LEDs, yeah, they're facing up, and it should light up the ring. I haven't tried it at night yet, but it should light up the motor protection ring. But it also will shine up and then illuminate the entire wing. I used to do it on big ones with flashlights, and this is a nice little LED strip to do that. So it looks awesome at night when you do that. Why am I still presenting? Can you unpresent me? There you go. FPV, yeah, it will handle FPV, but it's kind of weird in FPV. I've done it before, and there's a lot of movement and sideways oscillation just on maybe wind and turbulence, and a lot of swaying because you're controlling it. It's a pendulum where the camera would be, and it's gonna sway left and right, back and forth, and it's not great. I wouldn't really recommend it for FPV. But
it's not applicable.
We know you're 4'7", Steve says. He must have gone back and watched.
Somebody was going to put him on there.
It's only a 2-meter wingspan.
Hey, everyone. So as you know, on our RCGroups homepage, we have all the good information. And we also have this new ad spot opening up. Also, by the way, I did this for Manny over at Grotner, this ad right here. Because, and I just checked this yesterday, the MZ16 is back in stock. Let's verify that for him. Available in stock, yes. So evidently this thing was such a hot seller that when it did come back in stock, he said, Jim, what can we do to get the word out? So I stuck it in this banner ad slot. If you're an advertiser and looking for the most killer spot on the site, this is it. Give me a PM or email and we can talk. But we were having some feature issues and the features popped up live again yesterday. So all our news that's fit to print is now on our sections. You know, so we have the general, the plane, the sailplane, helis, FPV, all that good stuff. But everything that we have live here. Jason, have you heard any information on this guy?
I know the local store, Family Hobbies, had one, and they flew it, I think, inside the store. They were like advertising for people to pre-order it, so somehow they got a hold of one and had it in the store, which is pretty cool.
Did I see one in the tail? I sure did. That's pretty cool. Very nice. And I know that you've been working hard creating stories. So Tom's Modeling in Motion, what is this?
This was one of our users, C. Mulder, turned me on to it, and he said, you got to watch this. This is really cool stuff. This guy does stop motion animation videos of, these are model kits, right? These aren't RC planes. So I, preface that, but they're just intricate, super, if you're into kind of building and like that sort of thing. And this guy does a fantastic job even doing it in stop motion. The amount of hours and effort and energy he's got to put into these things to make it is just mind-boggling. But really cool model airplanes if you like that and want to see it. It's a lot of videos he's got up that you could check out. You could spend hours killing time.
Who is this guy? I'm curious. I'm going to go see how many views this has, just to see what the world likes. 117,000. That's insane. That is awesome. What a great idea. Okay, I'm going to have to turn the ring off while I'm at work.
You can snooze the motion or just mute your phone.
So we've got that. Eli Field, of course. Jason and I'll be headed out there theoretically in June, I believe, for the Horizon event.
RC Fest.
Hucking the border. I got a PM this morning, Jason, and it said, Mr. Graham, I keep seeing the word Huckfest. What is this?
Who asked that?
Mean? A user.
Nice.
Just via PM. I won't.
What does that mean?
Him out. And so I said, and I thought, if that's
if you don't know, you don't know.
Well, Huckfest was invented on Flying Giants. Now it's used as a general term. I see it all over the place on other sites that aren't related to Flying Giants. And but Huckfest was created there, and it's just a giant scale, usually 3D event, and that is a Huckfest, and it's pretty awesome. It still exists. It actually predates our purchase of Flying Giants, so it came from the California probably group of Flying Giants guys. FR Sky, big exciting news. They their ads had just run out, and I was contacted this week, and they said, Jim, please get ads back on the site as soon as possible, which I'd love to hear that, Jason.
There you go.
You want to make my day, write me an email that says that.
Hey, I want to sponsor your site.
Yes. What can I do?
Yes.
So what's going on here, Jason?
Did we talk about this last week?
We talked about it. Yeah. So this guy's featuring the switches. All right. So anyway, if you want to see the news, that is the place to go. I don't feel like a lot of people utilize this part of the site. Maybe they're just busy with their own threads, but Zing drone delivery for DJI drone owners. Can you make money delivering items? Jason, can I make money delivering items? Because I want to do that.
Can you? I don't know. That's the question I pose. I was like, is this actually going to work? Because I don't see it. But I rarely do like articles like that where I'm just like, I don't think so, guys, but this is one of those where I just don't think this is going to work out.
If it does work, I will be doing that on the side.
Oh, I mean, it's available. And you can go download it app right now. You can get your box. You can set it up and do your thing. And you have to have your FAA 107, your remote pilot certificate.
But you still can't fly over people. Do they have pathways for you to fly through?
Oh, it flies. So the way it works is it's really weird. You'd go get whatever food they want, a Subway sandwich or something. You'd stick it in the box, push a button. It flies automatically to the location, lands. They pick it out of the thing. It takes back, I don't know. It just doesn't seem feasible, but it's a mix of autonomous and remote piloting controls.
Well, not to mention, they're not going to take your $400 drone or whatever that's probably $1,000. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. And then it's like, if you're going to fly within range of a drone that could actually land on the ground and with having a signal, just go get it. You could walk. I mean, it'd be a couple miles, maybe max is where you could get to, but I don't know. I just don't see it, but it's there. It's a thing. If anybody wants to check it out, it's news, and I put it up.
You did a story a while back. Man dies recovering drone right here.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Jason's really going out there. I'm not surprised that someone died. It's sad, of course, but
yeah. So, well, if you didn't know, power lines are uninsulated lines. They're bare wire.
What did this guy grab it or something?
Well, they were trying to knock a drone out of a tree, and they were using a pole, assuming a metal pole. And the pole, obviously they went to push or something, and it fell, and they couldn't keep it up, and it contacted the power line and blew them back. Big shock and blew them back. One guy survived. One guy, didn't make it, but. It's like, don't screw around with power lines. If you get your drone in a tree, contact professionals. Don't take risks that are unnecessary. Your life's not worth your drone.
That reminds me of a video. And of course, it's a tragedy that anyone was harmed, and we don't, that's not a thing that we promote. But this guy, have you seen this guy?
I don't realize that.
I want you to pretend like this guy is singing to a Britney Spears song.
Whoa.
Which he is. And he's in a tree. I was watching this. I've seen this many times, but it came on the other night, and I thought,
so he's grounded.
1, he's singing to Britney Spears. 2, he's in a tree. Why?
What?
3, I'll just show you 3. Okay, so he's singing. He's really doing it. And he's getting into the song. Woo woo. He's in his backyard. What is that? Amazing. Well, you'll find out in just 1 second. So he's singing in a broom. This must be the
all kinds of wrong here.
Right. Okay. Now that's not appropriate. I don't know what country this is, but now he's going to meet the power line. Here we go. D. Dee-dee-da, and I believe it happens now. Whoa!
Oh my God!
Wait, my Gia mio!
Wow!
Okay, I don't know.
Idea.
Ever talk to high voltage electricity, but I have, and you certainly will do a lot of things that are not in your control.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
I once had a 12-volt battery go from my car through my arm and come out my big Texas belt buckle onto the fender of the truck. So
a 12-volt battery?
Yeah. My car battery. Oh, it really lit me up.
Wow.
All right. So Jason Cole, it looks like we're headed back out to the field again next week.
Yep. I think we'll hopefully get another good day and be able to do some video. Right. Maybe my guys can get out there.
And I want to thank all the live viewers who were live talking. Balazar 1, 2 Tango 2, Daniel Haynes, Lays 1 RC and Fun. I wonder what that means. That sounds sort of like a place you might go to have a good time. Smooth Virus. Listen, I'm sorry, my memory is terrible. Did we ask Smooth Virus what that meant? Did he tell us last week? What Smooth Virus? What is a smooth virus? I'm pretty sure you told us, but I don't think that I remember.
I don't remember.
And E Powered is talking about someone who got a drone stuck in a tree.
That's who I wrote the story about. That's the same incident. It was in Atlanta. Yeah.
Also, P.S. There's going to be a pop-up event at the Memphis Prop Busters this weekend, and
the one in Tullahoma they said was massive.
Yeah. And so I was in my truck headed that way, as I already stated, and was not able to make it. I looked at my map for Memphis. It's 3 hours away, so that's 6 hours of traveling, which would be a lot for me just to jump up and go take a run somewhere. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that or not. But we're not going to find out what smooth virus means this week, but maybe next week. Jason Cole, what do you got for the weekend? Anything good? You're going to fly tonight.
What do I have? Yeah, I might just, I don't know, maybe working on the reviews and editing and all the things. I don't know. I may take a break because I worked my butt off to build that airplane, literally like 6 days straight. And I put a lot of time and energy into it. And so maybe now it's time for a break.
I've been working, well, I don't want to go into that again, but half of our advertisers are in America and the other half's in China. And I can't make myself not reply to people even when it's like 11:30.
Yeah.
And I keep thinking, oh, I'll catch it up tomorrow. I'll take off early, but I don't. So that's what makes me. Okay, everyone, rcgroups.com. This week's RC Groups Hangout was brought to you by Horizon Hobby. I've been talking to Kim all week, and the lovely Kim Payne, and David Payne is one of the designers over there. So big thanks to them. And Jason, I will talk to you maybe today and maybe not.
As we say, we'll see you on the internet.
Yeah, as Matt Gunn would say, simmer down now. And now
I miss Matt.
I'm gonna, yeah, me too. I'm gonna hit the stop button, and then right as I do, say something cool that'll get cut off right as it goes.